G'day guys, it's Nick here, welcome to Wicked Wildlife, and we're on beautiful Fitzroy Island with Jennie from Cairns Turtle Rehabilitation Centre.
Hi everyone.
So, do you want to tell us, you're one of the co-founders?
Yes, I'm like a co-founder of the Cairns Turtle Rehabilitation Centre.
Yep.
And we started this 21 years ago, and we started off with 1 turtle and 2 people.
Yeah.
And now we have 3 centres and we have over 100 volunteers.
100 volunteers, yeah.
I know, it's fantastic, isn't it? And everybody here does it because they want to volunteer for the turtles.
Yeah, fantastic. So, you've obviously got a lot more than 1 turtle in today. Do you have a number of turtles that come through sort of a year on average, or?
It's really hard to tell. I mean, it's due to, if we've got an environmental condition, an unforeseen one, like we had
The cyclones.
in 2011, we had, of course, Cyclone Larry, then we had the floods, and we had Cyclone Yazi.
Yeah.
And what happened was, all the seagrass beds were wiped out, so we had an 800% increase in strandings. So we had turtles everywhere.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes we'll get a few in a year, sometimes we'll get 10 or 15 in a year. It just depends on the conditions and depends on what happens out there with their food source. But of course the problem is that what we're putting out in the ocean and what's happening in the ocean is causing their food to become toxic, so we're getting more turtles in, and that's
Sure.
really sad.
Oh, I bet. So was it always turtles? You were involved in wildlife beforehand?
No,
or?
I actually used to do megafauna.
Okay.
I virtually grew up, I suppose, at Taronga.
Yeah.
And I kind of fell into turtles. What happened was, up in New Guinea, I used to buy turtles at the markets and release them.
Yeah.
And then when I came down to Australia, we had 52 turtle eggs brought into the vet clinic, and someone had found a dog digging them up.
Yeah.
And we put a light on them, and they hatched the whole 52. So hence is my interest into turtles. So we released the whole 52, and I thought, well, my days of turtles are over again. And then I was actually working at the old Cairns Aquarium, and a turtle got brought into us, and the curator there, who's the other co-founder, he used to work with turtles.
Yeah.
And while we're rehabilitating this turtle, they closed the aquarium down. So we're left with this very large turtle. We donated our first piece of land in town, and that's where we started off. And literally, it was by one of the cruise companies, Sun Lover.
Yeah.
And they used to give away family passes for each piece of fencing, and
Yeah.
that's literally how we started off.
Oh, it's
and
fantastic.
now we've got this. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So what are some of the reasons turtles find themselves here with you guys for?
So the main thing that we see here is floater syndrome, and that's a term for air under their shell.
Yeah.
And that's caused by an impaction from marine debris, fishing line, boat strike, compromised immune system, and all those things cause either a bubble under their shell or gas in their intestine.
Yeah.
They float to the surface, and of course they can be predated on by a larger animal, they can be hit by a boat, or they can literally just starve to death, things like that. So that's the main thing we see. But we also see boat strikes, we also see croc attacks, we see shark attacks, we see entanglement and discarded fishing apparatus. That's a really big thing up north.
Yeah.
So the ghost nets, they call them, because you can't see them under the water. And these turtles, and many animals, like thousands of animals, get caught in them, and literally they drown. And if they're lucky enough to be saved, then they normally come down to us, but they normally have to have a flip or amputation or something like that.
Just from blood being cut off in those nets.
Cut off,
and,
yes.
yeah, terrible.
So it's terrible. But I think also the other thing we're seeing now is we're seeing, compromised immune systems, and this is caused by the toxicity in their food source.
Yeah.
So what we put down our sink goes out and it accumulates in their food source. Also, they're finding things like heart drugs, kidney drugs, antibiotics that go out into the ocean. They're accumulating in their food source. And of course, the turtles are eating this, and this is causing problems as well.
So, you've got all these turtles that come into care, and there's all these, things that can be really easy, I suppose, to feel that doom and gloom. But what's some of the ways that people can help to, do their part?
Look, there's a lot of things that people can help. I mean, the main thing is single-use plastic. It's not only turtles, it's other animals as well. Just stop using single-use plastic. Also, have a look around. What you put down your sink does go out into the ocean.
Exactly.
And that's a real problem as well. And fishing line, if you're fishing, and you get your hook stuck, don't just throw it overboard. Bring it back on board. Dispose of it, right correctly and things like that. Because these turtles will swim along if they've got a little bit of bait on the end of it, and they'll eat it.
Of
things
course.
like that. And in breeding season also, turtles breed air the same as we do. So they come to the surface and they breathe air. Just be mindful when you're out on a boat, especially in breeding season, because they're on the surface breeding.
Yeah.
And in hatchling season, if you know you've got a nest anywhere near you, turn off your lights. We've got turtles in at the moment, little hatchlings that unfortunately what happened was they hatched, people had their lights on, they headed towards it, and they were actually found in the chlorinator in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
So, you know, all these things can help. And I think we've got to look globally. I think we've got to stop looking, you know, okay, well, this, you know, this is. It's a global thing. I mean, especially in turtles, we share all our turtles with the South Pacific Islands and things like that. I mean, they go from here to Vanuatu and to New Caledonia and New Guinea and things like that. But it's also, you know, dolphins and whales. I mean, they get in trouble as well. The fish,
yeah.
I mean, the poor old fish, they're eating, you know, eating the plastic. I suppose the funniest thing I ever heard was, well, a little cartoon was when the guy goes into the fish shop and he buys a piece of fish and he said, oh, can I have that in plastic, please? He says, don't worry, sir, it's inside the
On
fish.
the inside.
And
yeah.
how true is that?
That's it, funny and tragic.
Funny and tragic. It's inside their fish. It's, you know, and this is the problem. I mean, you're getting fish that are eating it, and then you're getting larger animals eating the fish.
And that includes us.
Including
People forget
us.
we eat the fish.
That's exactly right. So, you know, and then you've got turtles, you've got plastic bags that are caught on sponges, and then you've got hawksbills eating the sponges. But you also got our others that eat crustaceans and fish, and they're getting plastic in that way as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's this great big roller coaster of what's happening out there.
Yeah.
But I think it's, you know, I think we're in a generation now where we need to look and say, do we want any more extinctions? Do we want this to happen? I mean, we've had enough extinctions in Australia.
We certainly have.
And, you know, we need to look at, we need to be mindful that every animal needs to be protected.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not, the big stuff is great, but it represents so much more.
It's
than,
sad.
yeah.
I mean, everything needs to be protected. You know, what's the world without, I read a thing the other day, without bees, we've got a real problem.
Exactly.
So it's, you know, I think we have to look outside the square. People unfortunately tend to look inside a square. We need to work outside that square and go, what do we need to do to protect everything that's out there and protect our world?
Yeah.
But also, if you see a turtle out there floating and it doesn't dive down, it's not a good photo opportunity.
Just make a call.
Make a call. It's sick.
Definitely.
And the quicker we can get them into rehabilitation, the better chance we've got of...
It's not floating around there for
right.
weeks or something.
Well, the better chance it's got to be
the sooner it gets help.
Rehabilitated and released back out into the wild.
Yeah.
You know, when we first started, our success rate was about 30-35% because people used to see them on the surface and not knowing and go, oh great, I can get photos and things like that. Now through awareness, education and media, people now realise that they're in trouble and so they ring the Stranding hotline.
Definitely. So, yeah, lots of things we can do.
Lots of things we can do.
Right, well, thank you very much for having us. You guys have an awesome facility here. People can visit here for talks.
Yes, they can. So the island runs talks in the afternoon, and of course Cairns Aquarium have talks also.
Yeah.
Educational talks, which is fantastic. They have a video running, so Cairns Aquarium do that as well, which is fantastic. But just before we go, we just need to have a look at this turtle over here.
Yep.
That actually shows you just how much marine debris was found in one day on the beach here.
Very good point. Go check it out.
So this was actually found on the beach in one day. And you know, that's pretty terrible when you think about it. We had about 4 people out looking and they found all this marine debris. You know, from plastic things, this is my big bugbear, wristbands on boats. You know, people just throw them away. Zippy ties, toothbrushes. So it's pretty terrible to think that this can all happen just on one beach in one day. Straws, of course.
You can just imagine, 365 of these lined up along the beach is every year. So, yeah, that little piece of plastic we walk past, it seems like a little piece of plastic, but every one of these is one of those little pieces of plastic. It's just, we pick up what we see, they pick up what they see, and we can stop this. So, yeah, all makes a big difference.
Yep.
All right, well, thank you very much for watching, guys. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, but more importantly, check out Cairns Turtle Rehab Centre on Facebook.
Yes, it's great. The Facebook page is fantastic.
Yeah, you got cool videos. We'll use some of their videos in this video,
Cool
so
videos.
you'll get to see a lot of them. Lots of information you can learn, and most importantly, you can share it with other people. The more we share, the more we talk, the more we care, the more we're going to make a difference. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for having us. It's an awesome facility here, and check on back next week. Be nice to animals. Have a good one. Take care.